Hey everyone, and welcome back to Middle-earth: Shadow of War. It's time for us to start the Desolation of Mordor DLC. Play as Baranor on his mission to open up a second front in the desert of Lithlod. Baranor is mortal and carries no ring of power. If he dies, his story is over. Be careful. Now, at some point, they released a new difficulty called Brutal. It's listed under Gravewalker, but it's actually not harder. But I'll read the description here. Enemies are as fast, intelligent, and lethal as on Gravewalker, but your damage is greatly increased, and might and wrath meters fill faster, allowing you to use more special moves. You have one last chance by default. Brutal difficulty does not increase your score multiplier. So, the enemies are as hard as they are on Gravewalker, but you do more damage and can use skills more often. So, Gravewalker is harder. I don't know why it's listed lower. That's quite strange, but anyways, we will be playing on Gravewalker, which will increase your score multiplier.
This doesn't seem like a place you find good men!
We're not looking for good men. We're looking for mercenaries. We have no hope of taking the fortress without them.
If we make it far enough to hire them, with those things out there...
These bones! This place has swallowed things larger than us! And more of those worms! They'll kill us all!
Run! Get off the sand!
It's all sand!
Oh, that's not good.
Keep moving!
Where?
Anyone that isn't sand!
There's sand everywhere.
Ah! I was hoping it wasn't a corpse I was dragging home. Be a bit weird, that, eh?
My men, what happened?
I'm really sorry, lad. They weren't as lucky as you.
Thank you for saving me.
Oh, don't thank me. Thank this. That little darling's a bit twitchy, but she should get you up to my camp, no trouble. I've got a newer one myself. Worked out all the hitches.
Hitches?
Word of advice about the climb. If you don't like heights, don't look down. And if you don't like dwarf asses, don't look up.
Press L1 to grapple to a targeted point.
You don't need to flatter me, lad. I already snatched you from the nasties. No, what you got there's Numenorians. Loads of their contrivances scattered around from way back.
Very useful.
Trick is grabbing it without the worms grabbing you. I found a few promising sites, got them all sketched out. You bring what you find back to me, I'll tinker till it does what it used to. Or does something anyway. Then you can field test it, make sure it's safe. Sound good?
More than fair.
Okay, climb to Torvin's camp, and we're almost there already.
not the most convenient spot if you're moving in furniture. But on the plus side, worms don't like heights. So, what are you doing so far from Gondor?
Looking for the Vanishing Sons. They're a mercenary company.
Yes, I hired a few of them to look for Númenórean bits. Now I owe their leader a few mercenaries. I've got just the thing to get you to where they are. Just don't tell them where I am.
What do I do?
Just run off the edge of the cliff.
Run off the edge of the cliff.
And here, these are the places to poke around for more Númenórean goodies. Go on then. I've used this thing myself. Not a bump or a scratch.
Gliding. Press X to open the kite while in the air, pressing circle while gliding to drop. Glide over vents on the ground to get boosted higher.
Come on, lad! Here, I'll help you. 1, 2, 3! Alright, how about we try it the other way? 3, 2, 1! Ready, and go! And go! Look, don't do this the wrong way, but I'd like for you to go now.
Hold X to run forward off the cliff. While in the air, press X to deploy the kite and glide. Hey, I'm trying to read here. Quit making fun of me. The kite will deploy automatically during falls to prevent you from taking damage. And we have a bonus objective, reach the mercenary camp without touching the ground. Here we go!
See, laddie! Nothing to it! Now, whatever you do, don't... Oh, you'll figure it out.
Figure what out?
Alright, so you can see the vents on the ground.
This is... Whoa!
They supposedly boost you higher in the air, but I didn't really notice a difference when I tested.
Think about it, is all. Right. Getting the hang of it.
Alright, and we completed that bonus objective. And circle to drop out.
The water here tastes sweeter to you. Tastes sweeter to me.
It's because we're in the desert. Water always tastes sweeter to a thirsty.
My name is Baranor. I am second captain of the Gondorian Guard at Minas Ithil.
Minas Ithil has fallen some time ago, I believe.
I am seeking soldiers.
Well, it's difficult to be a captain without them. Lucky for you, I've got the finest warriors in all of Middle-earth! Do you carry coin of any kind?
Some.
Some. You're going to need a lot more than some. What are your plans for them, eh? I assume you're not planning to retake Minas Ithil.
I'm planning to take Shindrum.
The fortress? No. That sounds like the work for heroes. All I can offer you are mercenaries. Look, why don't you come back when you have some more money, or sense? What art?
How do you know that name?
You haven't changed! I remember a boy of 7. Small for his age, so he had a lot to prove. And one day, he decided that he was going to explore the caves of Umbar, but he got himself into a little bit of trouble. Lucky for him, he had a brother. A beautiful, courageous older brother who was sent to look for him. And by the time that champion reached him, he was moments away from being devoured by Caragors.
Caragor? Jagai?
No, 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 little brother. I am Surka now. Surka, the unkillable. Surka, the insufferable. Surka, the survivor. But I still bear some scars from my former life.
How did you come to be here, among these Easterlings?
Same old story. A village is raided, homes are looted, mothers and fathers are slaughtered, screaming tears.
Orcs?
Mercenaries.
How is it?
I should be thankful, though, of course, eh? Not every boy gets the chance to be raised among such a merry band of killers and thieves.
But you lead them.
Yeah, only until I get a knife in my back. And believe me, that is how all leaders end up. But enough history. Blood only goes so far. You and I, we have business to transact.
To hire Circa's men, select the Vanishing Sun's Mercenary Company icon and press square to view available mercenaries. Select the mercenary in the front row and press X to hire him. So what are our options here? We got a combat master, quartermaster, a guardian, and a quartermaster. Nobody with a shield? Really? When I practiced this, there was ones with shields. Well, that quartermaster is dual wielding at least. I think he's dual wielding as well. I don't know what he's holding in his right hand though. Is that a fire weapon? Or is that a wand? I don't know what that is. That's, oh, never mind. I'm dumb. He's holding a bow in his left hand. That's a fire arrow. All right, well, let's go with the dual wielder then, the quartermaster. Wait, what? Wait, he had a bow too? I'm apparently blind. Oh well, my guy's got a bow. Alright, so select my hired mercenary. Oh, that is a bow. Look at that. So, we want to press triangle to command him. Press X to set the mercenary as your bodyguard, sure. Press right on the D-pad to slot your bodyguard. To summon him, you will press right on the D-pad. Well, I'm not thrilled with my choice, but it was just me being dumb. But I'll probably replace him as soon as I find someone with a shield, because shields are awesome. Alright, and our first mission in this DLC is complete, Arrival, and we did that bonus objective, so we get 150 of whatever currency that is used in this DLC. The Deserts of Lithlod. No one lives forever. When your health is low, hold R1 to open the weapon wheel, and hold square to use a healing elixir. You can find more healing elixirs by killing orcs. Baranor is mortal and carries no ring of power. If he dies, his story is over. Your progress on story missions and Torvin's skill upgrades will carry forward, but your outposts and hired mercenaries will be lost. And then we have artifacts. Numenorian artifacts are scattered around the deserts of Lithlod. Recover these ancient devices and return them to Torvin to gain access to powerful Torvin skill upgrades. View a Torvin skill upgrades description in the character menu to see Torvin's sketch of the area to search. Find the Numenorian artifact there, then return it to Torvin to unlock the skill upgrade.
If I'm going to take that fortress, I better start with something smaller. Let's see about those outposts.
Alrighty, so if we go to quests, you can see we have our next quest, the raid. We have outposts that we can take, and we also have the Torvin skill upgrades we can get. There are 9 of those. And now we are gonna move on. Well, actually, let's look at skills first. Torvin skill upgrades are earned by finding Numenorian artifacts. Highlight a skill upgrade in the Torvin skill group to view a sketch of the area to search. So we have these skills in Torvin. Automatically, we get shield charge, hold and release square to charge forward, knocking down and damaging enemies. Those are the Torvin skill upgrades associated with that. We get crossbow. Hold L2 to enter ranged mode and press R2 to fire. Press R1 to cycle ammo types between steel bolts and concussion bombs. You can also press L2 to quickfire your currently selected ammo without entering ranged mode. Same thing, 3 skill upgrades for that. And we have grapple. Press L1 to grapple to a targeted point. Use this to climb quickly. If you are already climbing, pressing L1 will pull you rapidly to the top of the climb. And 3 upgrades for that. We also have these Circa upgrades. We've got a bodyguard. Works the same as it used to. We have other skills that we will unlock by making story progress. And then we have capacity, which also uses our skill points. And there's 3 skills with various upgrades for those. And then our legacy skills, which you just have by default, carry over from the regular game. We got execution, perfect counter, critical strike, ground finisher, retaliation, surge, brutalize, detonate, pin, and treasure hunter. Treasure hunter is a nice one to have by default. Just pick everything up as you run over it. Should have been default in the regular game, if you ask me. Alright, and now we're going to move on to appendices. So this is all going to be reading. If this does not interest you, then this is the end of the video, really. For the rest of you, let's check out the new lore entries. So we have Circa under main characters. I am Circa now, Circa the unkillable, Circa the insufferable, Circa the survivor. But I still bear some scars of my former life. Circa the unkillable. Born to a Haradrim family near Umbar, Circa's life has been marked by hardship and great loss. Originally named Jagai after his grandfather, Circa witnessed his younger brother Werod taken away by village clerics and delivered to Gondor as a guarantee of peace. Soon after, his village was raided by a newly formed mercenary company known as the Vanishing Sons, who slaughtered his parents and most of the villagers. From their earliest raids, the Vanishing Sons had established their primary recruitment method, taking in surviving children and instructing them in the ways of war. The boy known as Jagai was adopted by the mercenaries along with 2 other children, both of whom died in the following months from battle and overwork. This was a pattern he saw repeated over and over in the following years. Jagai was transformed by these experiences and took the Easterling name of Circa, committing himself to survival at all costs. He would be a friend to all but never truly trust anyone. Instead, he put his faith in himself, surviving by his wits as much as his fighting skills, and embracing great risk for the promise of reward. He cheated death so many times that he gained the title of the Unkillable. Over time, he rose through the ranks of the Vanishing Sons to become their leader. Likewise, the Vanishing Sons themselves had changed, becoming less a group of Easterling soldiers than a band of mercenary orphans. Then we have Torvin, Lithlod's greatest hunter. Every creature's got its lore, eh? Torvin. When this resourceful dwarf is not on one hunt or another, he's tinkering with new bits of kit to ensure success on the next. He and his brother Gorvin left their home in the Orakarni to stalk Middle-earth's greatest prey, only to have Gorvin fall in their attempt to bring down the mythical Great White Graug. Torvin eventually got revenge for his brother, slaying the mighty beast with help from another deadly hunter, Talion, a ranger of Gondor. With the Great White Graug vanquished, Torvin set out for the desert of Lithlod, where he would hunt an even more formidable adversary, the massive subterranean terrors known as wereworms. During his explorations of the region, he began discovering lost artifacts of Numenor. A skilled craftsman by nature of his dwarven heritage, Torvin set about restoring these ancient devices to working order, finding they aided him not only when hunting beasts, but also when evading enemies. This latter category has come to include not only the orcs of Lithlod and the worms themselves, but also the Vanishing Sons mercenary company, some of whose members have been killed on ill-fated expeditions Torvin planned and financed. Then we have Baranor. Minas Ithil is the only home I've ever really known, the only family I've ever known, and I will fight to defend it. Captain Baranor. Captain Baranor was the second in command to General Castamir. Born to a Haradrim family near Umbar, he was exchanged with a Gondorian child as a guarantee of peace. In the intervening years, contact was lost with his people, and he was raised as a Gondorian by a wealthy family in Minas Ithil. A trusted lieutenant, he was recognized early on by Castamir for his bravery and superior combat abilities. He rose through the ranks quickly to become Castamir's bodyguard and ultimately his second in command. Baranor devoted his life to the service of his adopted city. He is loyal, brave, grounded by a strong moral compass, and willing to give his life for his general. Baranor rarely lets down his guard and lives by a strict military code. Following the fall of Minas Ithil, Baranor ventured deeper into Mordor to rescue Gondorian prisoners who had been captured by the orcs. Along with second Captain Idril, they performed raids on orc camps, though over time their numbers diminished. Baranor and Idril persisted in Mordor for a time, but ultimately committed themselves to a plan in which Idril would lead the surviving Gondorians to the hidden sanctuary of Hinith Anun, while Baranor would venture out to the eastern desolation of Lithlod and open a new front in the war for Mordor. Scouts had informed them of the orc fortress of Shindrum and a neighboring mercenary company known as the Vanishing Sons that might be enlisted in an attempt to conquer it. Baranor made the trek to Lithlod but lost his company to orcs and wereworms before reuniting with Circa, the brother he had thought dead all these years. Then we have Free Peoples, Easterling Mercenaries, Blood for Coin, Anonymous. The Vanishing Sons are a mercenary company located in Lithlod. Formerly professional soldiers within the Easterling military, the Vanishing Sons were born at the massacre of Eastfold, where a brigade of Easterling warriors were sent into an unwinnable battle in the grasslands of the Rohirrim. Facing a superior force of Rohirrim riders, close to 1,000 men were slaughtered. The 24 Easterling soldiers who managed to escape did not return to Rhûn, and instead took the name of the Vanishing Sons and became mercenaries who fought for the highest bidder, whether they be former allies or enemies. From their earliest raids upon Haradrim villages, they established their primary recruitment method, taking in surviving children and instructing them in the ways of war, to the extent that the Vanishing Sons transformed over time, becoming less a group of professional soldiers than a band of mercenary war orphans, one of whom eventually became their leader. The Vanishing Sons eventually made their way to the deserts of Lithlod, where they took up residence in the ruins of an ancient Númenorian fortress. Lithlod gave them a permanent home where they brokered a deal with the orcs of Shindrum. They would be left in peace and paid a monthly bounty for dealing with bandits that assaulted the marauder camps and their supply lines. The Vanishing Sons dispatched the bandits quickly and sent the heads of 20 warriors to the orcs. Lithlod grew quiet, until some months later when the mercenaries happened upon an idea that would guarantee as much work as they wanted. Thus, the bandit raids began again. And Idril. The stories of the past shape us. They damn us. They hold forth an ideal for us to live up to. Most of us fail, but we strive, and that's what matters. Second Captain Idril. Second Captain Idril is the only child of Minas Ithil's military leader, General Castamir. Idril's mother died during an orc raid when Idril was only 11, and Idril was forced to mostly raise herself. This made her self-sufficient and relentless in pursuit of her goals. As an adolescent, her goal was to avenge her mother, and she repeatedly slipped into Cirith Ungol to attack orc encampments. After growing weary of Gondorian patrols returning his daughter to safety, Castamir enrolled Idril in the military so she'd have a fighting chance when she inevitably sought orcs to slay. Strong-willed, proud, and very conscious of coming from a military family that has served Minas Ithil for generations, Idril trained as a professional soldier, but the siege of Minas Ithil was her first true experience of war. Before the siege, she spent much of her time cataloging the vast collection of artifacts in Minas Ithil's Great Hall. She became familiar with its treasures, though the workings of some, like the Palantir, remained mysterious to her. It was during this time she fell in love with Baranor, the second in command to General Castamir, though their relationship was kept secret. Following the fall of Minas Ithil, Idril engaged in a guerrilla campaign within Mordor, rescuing captured Gondorians, attacking orc camps, and when possible, recovering the treasures of the Great Hall. Baranor joined her and other Gondorians in this doomed task, and over time their numbers diminished. Idril and Baranor persisted in Mordor for a time, but ultimately committed to an audacious plan in which Idril would rescue the last of the captured Gondorians and lead the survivors to the hidden sanctuary of Hinith Anun, while Baranor would venture out to Lithlod and open a new front in the war for Mordor. Scouts had informed them of the orc fortress of Shindrum, and a neighboring mercenary company known as the Vanishing Sons that might be enlisted in an attempt to conquer it. With Shindrum defeated and sacked, Idril and Baranor would reunite and consolidate their newly acquired mercenary forces with those of the remaining Gondorians, and take their war to the very heart of Mordor. Orc culture has not changed. Neither has beasts. Locations has not changed, although it's only at 94% now, so there must be a new one to discover. But objects has changed. We have the Gauntlet, relic of a lost world. I reckon the Numenorians figured out everything there is to know. Then they jammed it all into this bloody stonkin' gauntlet. Torvin. The great kingdom of Numenor reached its height during the Second Age, only to suffer a crushing fall. Its wonders are largely lost now, but traces of its lineage remain, as do pieces of its incredible technology, buried in the mud and sands of the many lands the Numenorians once conquered. The Gauntlet is a marvel of engineering, the uses of which are almost too varied to enumerate. While its origins are lost forever, its power cannot be overstated. Capable of absorbing otherwise lethal blows, launching an array of deadly munitions, and smashing through whole formations of enemies, the Gauntlet gives one man the power of an army. Besides the Gauntlet and its fantastic counterpart, the Kite, many lesser Numenorian artifacts are scattered about Lithlod. Through the persistence and cunning of Torvin the Dwarf, these strange objects can be used to upgrade and expand the Gauntlet's capabilities even further, making Baranor a serious threat to the region, and to its fortress, Shendrum. Alrighty, so that is all of the new stuff for the time being. Before we take off, let's just look at the map momentarily. You can see it's a fairly large area. Kind of difficult to tell from just the map alone, but it's not exactly small. Anyways, we are going to wrap it up right here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.